Hey friends, happy Sunday, having my coffee here. Thought I would do a sit down video today and get ready. I need to film a couple of videos, so I thought I would jump on here and do a little bit of a life update. I have some not so great news to share, although I will say now there's I guess sort of a happy ending, I hope, fingers crossed. And then I have some really exciting news to share. So let's start getting ready and I will bring you up to speed. So if you see me looking over here, it's because that's where my mirror is. And it's hard to do your makeup like on camera with a viewfinder. But I will have all of these products linked below. So if you want to check out what it is I'm putting on my face, you can find it there. All right, let's start with the not so happy news. So last Friday, so over a week ago, because today is a Sunday of the week following, about the middle of the afternoon, our contractors walked off the job. So it's a little backstory. We have been trying to get them to finish, as you guys know, because I've said it like 20,000 times that I want my pantry done. In addition to getting my pantry done, which is on obviously this side, right? Because you can see the kitchen behind me. They had not finished David's like alcove office. They needed to install the soffit and the lights in that alcove. They needed to install his desk and they needed to install the barn doors that will close off his alcove. They also needed to build Hannah's closet, her IKEA system, and they needed to install her desk. And so I guess it was like a couple days before they were starting school. So like kind of the middle of that week, or like the Tuesday of that week that we're talking about here. I texted him and was like, hey, my kids are starting school on Thursday. My daughter needs her desk. Like, can you please prioritize getting this done? And he said, I will have another crew over there tomorrow, which I think maybe this was like Wednesday or when he responded to me. So basically it was, they would be coming on Thursday. So I was like, okay, fine. You know, she doesn't have it for the first day of school, but she's not going to have any homework. Like, she doesn't need her desk the first day of school. And besides, if they came on Thursday, it would be done when she got home from school and she would have a place. Anyway, so, you know, the normal crew gets here anywhere between like 8:30 and 9. And obviously, you know, they got here, they were working on the other side, you know, just like they have been and, you know, making good progress. And you'll, you know, obviously see those updates in, you know, the next vlog installment. But it got to like, I don't know, maybe like around 11 o'clock. And I said something to David. I'm like, when do you think these guys are showing up? So I don't know if he texted him. I don't know if I texted him. Whatever it was, one of us reached out and we have a group text going. So the three of us are on one text chain and we're like, hey, you know, when do you think they'll be here? And he's like, oh, you know, they're coming or something like that. Then it got to be like, you know, 12:31, still no one's here. We're following up. I don't even remember then if we were getting a response or maybe it was, yeah, you know, they'll be there. Again, I should have probably gone back and looked at our texts before I started this video so I could have given you like accurate information. But bottom line, I think you can probably figure out they never showed up on Thursday. On that day, they also asked us for the next like progress payment. So meaning that they thought they hit another milestone in the build. And our payment structure is basically based on percentage of completion. David didn't really think that they were, so it's 75%. David didn't really think that they were 75% done based on what they had completed on the other side. He felt like 75% of the condo, co-op, apartment, whatever. It's technically a co-op, but you guys, I call it an apartment because it's just easier. So he didn't think that 75% of the apartment was done. And by that, he was really referring to the stuff that was still left to be done on the other side. I don't know that I necessarily agree with him on that sort of assessment. I think you probably could look at it that it's 75% done. But I think the other big part of it was he was sort of like, hey, we've paid you for 50%, but 50% isn't even done, or the 50% that was supposed to be done isn't done, based on the fact that, like I said, there are still some very big items isn't done. So he basically said to the contractor, we're reluctant to make payment until, especially until you get these things on what we call the A side completed. So, like I said, obviously they did not come on Thursday. And I think maybe, I don't even remember if the contractor said that they were going to come on Friday then. Again, I should probably look back at the text strings, but anyway, I think we had an expectation that they were going to come on Friday still at this point. So obviously Friday rolls around. Again, you probably see where this is going, right? No one's showing up. We're following up. Hey, when's your crew going to be here? And now it's crickets. Now we're not hearing anything back from him. He's not responding at all. He's not even saying, oh, they're coming or they'll be there. Anyway, it's just, we're not getting any feedback. Now, in the meantime, the other guys, the normal guys, are over on the other side working away. They're priming all the walls to get ready to paint, and they've laid all the tile. Again, you'll see this in an update. And about, I think, 2 o'clock or so, 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I think I was out. I don't remember where I was, but I came home and David's like, so they're leaving. And I was like, this early? Like, really? Like, what? And he's like, no. They're leaving. They're walking off the job. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And again, I think I've mentioned this, but they don't speak English. And so basically the only thing that David got from the main worker was no pay, were the 2 words that, were translatable, I guess. And we didn't know if that meant that he hadn't been paid by the contractor, or if, like, our contractor had said to him, basically directed him to leave because he hadn't been paid. We hadn't paid that next installment. Now, first of all, they just literally asked us for the payment the day before, and it was even like later in the day. It takes a little time to go get a cashier's check. But regardless, they were walking off the job. And like I said, we didn't know whether it was who hadn't been paid. Was this just the worker being like, hey, he's not paying me, so I'm leaving? At which point then David was like, well, what if we pay him? Like, what if, we pay him and then just sort of like take that out of, and I'm like, don't get involved. Like, that's just, no, don't do that. And like I said, the contractor himself was not responding to us at all. So I may have mentioned this before, but there's sort of 2 people that are involved in this deal. There's kind of like a business guy, and then there's the contractor. And we were trying to get a hold of the business guy to be like, hey, this is going on. What's the deal? Like, they're walking off the job. And he was basically like, I'm unavailable today. So yeah, basically the one guy who's kind of the newer guy to the crew, he just left. Like, he was gone. In fact, he may have even been gone by the time I got home. The other guy, the guy who's been here the whole time, used to be here with his wife, but now the wife isn't here and this other guy's here, which is fine because he does more work than the wife did. She was adorable. Please don't misunderstand me, but she wasn't super productive. It was always the husband. So anyway, I like hear things, and I happen to walk by like the hallway when I was going into the kitchen from where I am right now, and I saw him like carrying some stuff like towards the door. And I was like, And then like he was still there. Like, this was like over an hour or so after he said he was leaving. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, you just take the subway. Like, why are you still here? And I said to David, I said, I think he's taking all of his stuff. Like, he's not just leaving and then we'll be coming back when we get this resolved next week kind of thing or whatever. He's leaving. He is packing up all of his tools and he is leaving. And the reason why he hasn't left yet is because he's waiting for probably his wife to come pick him up in a car, because he can't take all of this stuff on the subway. I mean, he has like a big saw, right? That he like cuts planks with for the hardwood floors and when he has to adjust like door frames and things. So sure enough, I kind of peek into the room and I see him. He's like standing at the window watching for somebody. So I tell David, he's waiting. He's waiting for somebody. But in the meantime, he's so cute. He obviously can't help himself and he's just impatient and doesn't want to keep watching out the window. So you'll hear him like sanding the walls. Still working, but not working fully, obviously. He's not really making a whole lot of progress. But regardless, you'll see how he was like in Hannah's bathroom, standing where they had like mudded and taped. Anyway, it was funny. And I also happened to go out into the hall for a second and I saw his wife, and sure enough, they were taking things from the apartment. Nothing of ours, nothing that we had purchased, none of the construction materials or anything, just his tools and things. Yeah, loading them into the elevator and taking them downstairs, loading them into their car and going off. So, the earliest that the kind of business guy said he could meet was on Monday, which did not make me super happy because I knew for sure no one was coming on Monday, right? Because we weren't going to talk until like 2 in the afternoon or something, 2:30. So clearly no one's going to come because we haven't resolved anything. And then like our time kept getting pushed, whatever. Basically, the business guy said, okay, let me talk to him and we will figure out a time to get over to your place and do like a walkthrough and see what's going on. So that didn't happen until Thursday of the week that we just finished. So Thursday came and the contractor ended up not being able to come. I guess he was busy at another job site, who knows, whatever. So it was just the business guy who came. We had a very heart-to-heart with the business guy about what had been going on, and he was not happy to hear that the contractor had not been to the job site less than a handful of times. I think he's been here 4 times total. So, that certainly didn't help the situation, but we expressed the fact that, or certainly I did, that we were relaying things as we saw them to the contractor, but that we didn't think that the contractor, and I don't know if it's because he's too busy or whatever, wasn't relaying yeah, that's fun, wasn't relaying those things to his workers. So his workers would go ahead and do things like close up a wall or like the things with the shower head or whatever, and then have to cut into the wall or take down a wall or whatever because the contractor's not talking to the workers and telling him what to do, and then they have to redo things. And honestly, yes, I think there was one thing, the shower door, that we had them redo because we ordered a shower door that was too low. We didn't realize that New York has abnormally short bathtubs. And so in order for somebody to not hit their head when they were getting into the shower with the sliding glass door, we needed to order a taller one. So they did have to take out the original one and then put in the new one. But aside from that, we had not asked them to redo anything. The only things that they had to redo were things that they screwed up in the first place. So I think that was helpful. And then in addition to that, we, like I said, went through, had the plans there, and then he also had the contract. And he was able to see that everything that we were asking them to do was almost all of it was specifically called out in the contract. But in addition to that, the contract has a clause that says they need to follow the plans, or it will say like da 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 per the plan. Well, if you're not referencing the plan, then again, not my fault. And we paid for things to be done a certain way. Not to mention, we have given up quite a few things that we haven't asked them to do. The bottom line is that the business sort of arm of this project agreed that everything was listed and that there were a lot of things that still had not been completed yet. So when he left, we were sort of like, or before he left, we were like, so what should we expect from here? He's like, you guys, don't worry. We will have the crew back. I will get this resolved, whatever. He's like, let me talk to the contractor, talk about the things that we just talked about, and I will get back to you and let you know when you can expect the contractors to be back on site. So that was Thursday, and honestly, within, I don't think it was more than like an hour and a half, he sent us a text that said he talked to the contractor and that the crew would be back Monday or Tuesday, which is tomorrow. Or Tuesday. Guessing it's probably going to be Tuesday. But as I said, it was a little bit of a tense situation from last Friday until Thursday. We didn't know whether we were going to have to find another contractor, which meant we were going to have to go through the whole approval process, have our building permit reissued in that contractor's name. Like, it would have been a whole thing. We were definitely not happy that we might have to do that, not to mention the fact of how much more we were going to have to pay somebody to finish the deal. Anyway, crisis averted. Thank God. I guess I shouldn't say, I'll reserve a couple percentage of being a little concerned. We obviously need to see them show up on Monday or Tuesday, but I think I have a good feeling about it. So that is sort of the stress and a little bit of a crisis that we were under for the last week or so. But let's get on to the very exciting news. And the exciting news is that I am going to Paris and London. Ah! Oh my gosh. Sorry if I just blew your ears out with my little scream. So, backstory. Back in early spring, March, April, because my birthday's in the beginning of April, I had talked to David. He asked me what I wanted for my birthday, and I was deciding between either a new camera or a trip to Paris, because I really wanted to go and film content for you guys. I love Paris. I just thought it would be a fun thing to do. I've never traveled by myself outside of business, and I've never traveled overseas by myself at all. And I thought, I'm a big girl, I can do this. And I knew at that time that Dale and Meredith were going to be going to Paris. And I thought, maybe I could coordinate it to when they were there. It might be kind of cool. I could actually meet them. When else am I going to have a chance to meet people from Australia? Because I'm probably not going to get to Australia anytime soon. So I thought I could kind of, kill two birds with one stone. But I really, really wanted to do it. And as I sort of thought about it, and with the remodel coming up, and we obviously hadn't started it yet, and just kind of being concerned about costs, I thought, I probably should table that idea. So instead, I asked him to contribute to my Fendi made to order. So that happened. I got that as my birthday present, whatever. So fast forward several months, and I had talked to Meredith and Dale kind of about it, and I told them, I'm like, yeah, I don't think it's gonna work. I just don't think this is the right time for me to be spending that money, etc. So a couple weeks ago, I thought, you know what? I want to go. Even if I, am not able to hang out with Dale and Meredith at all. In fact, actually, my original plan was to go to Paris the week before. So the week of the 18th, 19th, that kind of thing. Because honestly, the following week is when Paris Fashion Week is. And I one, didn't really want to deal with all of the people there that were going to be there for Paris Fashion Week. Two, if I was hoping to get an appointment with Hermes, again, Paris Fashion Week is a horrible time to go because there are that many more people trying to get an appointment through the lottery system. And three, I knew that hotels were either A, going to be sold out, or B, if they weren't, going to be really expensive. And in addition to the Paris portion, I knew that there were a whole bunch of content creators who I'm sure all of you watch and know of that are going to be getting together in London. So I reached out to Deb at Wild Unfiltered and asked her, I'm like, hey, okay, I'm kind of toying with this idea of coming. Can you tell me, what day you're getting together to see if I can make that work? So like I said, my plan originally was to go to Paris first and then take the train from Paris to London in hopes to meet up with the group and get to meet all those fantastic creators and then fly home from London. So I got all that information from Deb and then talked to David about it because I hadn't talked to him about it yet, and said, I really, really want to do this. It's really important to me. And he was, I wholeheartedly support you. You don't do these things. This is not like something you do frequently. I don't take trips by myself. Like I said, I've never taken like a personal trip. I've never taken a girls' trip, anything like that. So he was very supportive and very, very sweet, which I really, really appreciate. And we do have quite a few like hotel points and things. And so he said, let me look. I can probably get you a couple of free nights with this and whatever. And I may have mentioned this before, but I happen to think that David was a travel agent in a previous life. He loves to coordinate travel plans. Just sort of thing he loves to do. He was writing travel vlogs at one time. Anyway, so he started playing around with it, and it turned out actually that when he was looking, we're big Marriott Bonvoy people. So he had like a couple of certificates that were going to be expiring at the end of the year that he was like, we should definitely use those. They're for free nights. And anyway, so when he started looking at Paris, it turned out actually that there weren't a lot of options for Paris for the week before Paris Fashion Week, but actually there were some options during Paris Fashion Week. So I then had to start kind of redoing my travel plans. I hadn't booked any of my flights yet. So I looked to see, okay, what if I flip-flop, fly into London, do the London part first, then take the train from London to Paris and be in Paris during Paris Fashion Week, which then, of course, would enable me to maybe spend a little more time with Dale and Meredith. They have a ton of things planned, and I have in no way want to like encroach on their plans. It's just sort of if you guys have an extra couple of hours or something and you want to go do something, that would be great. But like, no pressure. But my biggest point of going to Paris is to, like I said, film content for you all and just to experience Paris like on my own. So that is what is happening. That is the exciting news. I am so excited to go. So I will have a couple of, probably one pack with me. I may do sort of this is how I'm putting together outfits and sort of that process. That may be just all one video. I'm not really quite sure. Obviously, after I get back, there will be travel vlogs and all those things. Hopefully, maybe some unboxings or maybe at least one unboxing. Obviously, things are definitely cheaper there, so I would like to take advantage of the cheaper price along with the VAT refund. That's always a good thing. So yeah, so that is my exciting news. Like I said, I'm so excited to go on this trip. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit nervous. As I said, I've never traveled overseas by myself. Traveled plenty, as I said, for work on my own. So I'm not unaccustomed to traveling by myself. I certainly know how to get places and take Ubers and do those things. But going, especially the Paris part, because I don't speak French. And every time I've been to Paris, I've been with David, who did take French in high school, and I think maybe a little in college. So even though he doesn't speak fluently, he can sort of stumble his way through and have basic communication skills. My breadth of communication is basically bonjour, do you speak English, and I don't understand. Those are sort of the three things that I can get through. Oh, and merci. Thank you. So that part, I'm not going to lie, makes me a little nervous, but we will get through it, and I know I'll be fine, and there's always Google and Google Translate. So anyway, I will take you on this journey. I am so excited to go. I am over the moon excited that I get to meet so many creators in London when we go. We're all getting together on a Saturday, and then I'm going to be getting together with Leslie Adina on Sunday night because she's actually going to be, unfortunately, out of town when we're all getting together, but she'll be back in time, so we're going to have dinner on Sunday night, which I'm very excited about. And then that Monday, I will take the train to Paris, and then we'll do the Paris part. So anyway, more to come. So excited. Can't wait to take you guys along with me on the journey. So make sure you are subscribed. Click the notification bell so you know when I upload videos so you don't miss any of that Europe content. And if you haven't had enough of me yet, I will pop another video up here for you to watch. And wherever you are, I hope you are having an amazing day or evening, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.